Hello everybody, welcome to this exciting episode of Cooking with the Sign Man. Today's episode is going to be The Sign Man Spills the Beans. I have this secret bean recipe that I've developed over the years. I've perfected it. I've tried countless times. I've tried secret ingredients and everything. And my family and friends just keep saying, you got to bring these beans. What's your recipe? I won't tell them. And it's kind of been a long-standing thing of my secret recipe. I won't tell anybody what goes in the ingredients, but today I decided to spill the beans. It's only an exclusive here on Bob the Sign Man, so the only way you're going to get this recipe is to hit the subscribe button and like. So if my family doesn't watch my videos, they're not going to know the secret recipe. So without further ado, as a world exclusive, Bob the Sign Man spills the beans. You don't want to miss this episode because you'll miss out on these fantastic beans that is just a secret super recipe. Thanks for watching. Alright, hello everybody, welcome to this exciting episode of Cooking with the Sign Man. Today's episode is Spilling the Beans with the Sign Man. My secret of my super secret beans. First we start with a pulled pork, and I showed you in a previous video how we do that. Back at you later. Okay, here we go. The secret super ingredients from my beans. This is a pan I'm going to use. I'll put my beans in the pan. I'm going to mix in my pulled pork once my pulled pork's done. I started this about 7 o'clock this morning. My pulled pork is still going. It's a little after 11. I'm going to go ahead and put my pulled pork in the roasting pan. Anyways, then I'll have another roasting pan and I'll put my beans in. This is my super secret recipe that a lot of people don't know about. It's a real simple recipe. It doesn't take a whole lot of prep time, but here's my secret ingredients. Are you ready? And here we are. So, what I do is I take my favorite beans and I mix them all together. I'll chop up an onion, of course, mix an onion in there. I'll put in a little salsa verde sauce, and I'll get a can of Ortega fire roasted. I'm trying to keep the smoke theme going here, and I usually get the mild. I don't like a lot of hot stuff. And then what I do, I have a couple flavors of stag beans that I use. I like the spicy, slow simmered cooked ones. Then I have the blend of green chilies, some Laredo with chili beans. Then I have some Denison's hot chili, corny with beans. And then I have some regular Denison's. Can't forget the good old Van Cam's pork and beans. I'll mix in a can of bush beans. I have the Smokehouse Tradition. Like I said, I'm trying to keep the smoke theme going on here. And I'll take a can of bush beans. So, depending on how much you want to make or whatever, just experiment and mix up a few of your favorite beans. Try this recipe, that recipe, whatever. And that's what I do. So it's got different types of beans in there, and I put them in this pan, or you can put them in a pot if you'd like, and cook them on top of your stove and let all the flavors simmer in. Usually if I do that, I'll ground up some hamburger or some ground turkey or something, but today I'm going to be putting pulled pork in it. And then what I'll do is I'll have all my beans in there with the pulled pork and everything. And you can drizzle some sweet, I like this sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. You can drizzle some of that over the top of it. And then you can just let these sit inside the smoker for an additional couple hours and just let all the flavors melt together. But that's the thing to do, is simmer all these and let all those flavors blend together. And I'm telling you, with the combination of this and that, it's surprisingly good. And like I said, a lot of my family and friends have been saying, what is your recipe for the beans? And I never spill the beans except for today. For my viewers, a little special treat from the Sign Man, I'm going to spill the beans. So here's my secret recipe that I use. And it's not really so much of a secret recipe anymore. I think people have kind of figured it out. But like I said, just experiment with a few different kinds, and it's really good. And it's always a hit at a barbecue party or something, or you know, like a potluck. Whenever I bring my beans to the potluck or anything for my friends, family, or whatever, there's hardly ever any leftover, and they always ask, can I have some leftovers? Can you leave them? And it's just a hit at any barbecue party. So here's my secret recipe, and I'll show you a little bit later how I mix them in and what I do. But I just thought I'd give you my ingredient list here. All right, now that my pulled pork is sitting in the smoker, I just have to wait for it to reach 195 degrees. Right now we're at about 135 degrees. It's covered, no more spritzing or anything. I put 2 cups of apple juice in the pan, and so now I just have to wait for the temperature to get up to its cooking temperature. And how do I pass the time while I wait for that? Well, I can't think of a better way to spend the Labor Day weekend while I'm waiting for my pulled pork to finish than catching up on some old episodes of Bob the Sign Man. Okay, I got my beans in my little roasting pan there. I mixed in the pulled pork. I pulled it out, ready to go. Drizzled a little barbecue sauce on the top. I'm going to bake them in the pan here for about probably an hour until they get nice and bubbly, until some of the liquid goes out and they get a nice thick consistency like I like. I went ahead and put all the beans in the pot. Just brought them to a little simmer, chopped up the onion, kind of saute the onion just a little bit, soften it up a little bit. Put them in there, and you don't want to cook them too long and get your beans too mushy. But put the Traeger about 350 degrees, let it go for about an hour until it bubbles out. Like I say, it gets the consistency that you like. I'll show you the end result when they're done. Okay, here we are about 45 minutes into it. We'll take a look at them. Oh, look at that, bubbling away, nice, getting a nice little crust on top. See some of that pulled pork in there. And they're thickening up pretty good. I think I'll let them go about another 15 minutes or so, and that should do it. 15-20 minutes. Okay, these beans have been on for about an hour. I think they're ready to come on. Oh yeah. We'll go ahead and pull them off and serve them up. All right, there we go. The Sign Man's secret bean recipe. Exclusive here on Bob the Sign Man. They've been in there for about an hour, just kind of gathering all their juices together. Nice thick consistency. A little taste here. Delicious. They've got that nice smoky barbecue. And we'll accompany them with some of the pulled pork that's left over. Alrighty, thanks for watching this exciting episode of Bob the Sign Man Spills the Beans. Woohoo! Alright, there you go. There you have it. The Sign Man's secret bean recipe. I don't know. I don't even really have a name for it. It's always just been Bob's secret beans, you know, and because I never tell anybody the recipe. And a few people, they'd look at it and they kind of figure out, oh, you just mixed in all kinds of cans. But you know, you get that real barbecue smoke flavor. I like using the pulled pork, and you can use ground beef or turkey, ground turkey, whatever you want, but I prefer the pulled pork in there. And then when you put it in the Traeger barbecue with that pulled pork, and you just get all that smoke flavor that's left over from the drippings of the pulled pork, it just gets in there and it really flavors up those beans. Like I said, they're a big hit at any family function or potluck I go to. There's very few times there's any of those beans left, and if there is any, everybody wants the leftovers, and they want the recipe. So if they want the recipe, they're just going to have to tune in to watch Bob the Sign Man. As always, thanks for watching.